It all began at Stevens, down at Water's Edge, where the Hudson separates the Stevens campus from that city across the river. It ended up finally at Stevens in the Center Art Gallery as a celebration of an astounding art and technology project that took 2 years to complete, spanned the nation, and all along the way made a lot of people smile and remember their dreams. It was the flight of the Vin Fiz. It all began when Jim Lloyd, Stevens graduate, materials scientist, IBM researcher, and a small plane pilot, which is to say wingnut, stumbled upon a book about Cal Rodgers and the flight of the Vin Fiz.
Cal Rodgers was one cool guy. In 1911, William Randolph Hearst offered a $50,000 prize for the first pilot to fly a plane across the United States, and Cal decided to go for it. He got a sponsor, J. Ogden Armour of Armour Meats, who at the time was promoting a new soft drink called Vin Fiz. He plotted a course. Well, actually, he followed what was called the Iron Compass, which were railroad tracks. And in a well-publicized event, he took off from New York City. Against all odds, and there were plenty of them, he actually made it. I thought, well, that guy was cool, and this is a real story. I was thinking that next year was going to be the 75th anniversary, and I figured that somebody should recreate that flight. So I was thinking about it some more, and I figured I should recreate that flight. I want to do it. So I started planning the trip by writing hundreds of letters to all the towns that Cal had stopped at 75 years earlier, and then I saw this at a small airport I was visiting and said, that's what I have to do. I then contacted the same sponsor, got them to buy a specially modified version of the plane, and plotted the same course across the country using the railroad tracks, stopping at all the same places the Cal did. The Armour people did it up pretty well. They planned an appearance on Good Morning America and had a big breakfast party on takeoff day. At 8 o'clock on a clear, cold morning in 17 September 1986, I took off from a city street called Sinatra Drive.
Here she goes. He's up. He's airborne. Watch out for the wires in the building.
All across the country, we stopped wherever Cal Rodgers had stopped. And all across the country, Americans came out to say welcome. They came with honor guards and church suppers. They came out with cookies, chili peppers, whatever made their town special. They came out with beauty queens, and I now have more keys to different cities than you can imagine. Someone in Middletown, Illinois, actually took the time to make an incredible quilt honoring the event, and I will never forget any one of them, and most of them came with stories about the first Vin Fiz.
A little girl named Elsie Alexander came running out to see the plane.
Did you think it would make it back up in the air?
No, I did not. I thought, well, how can that thing fly? That's what I thought. It was so fragile. You'd wonder how it would ever fly.
But the plane did fly again, and Elsie probably helped. You see, Cal Rodgers remembered the long hair she had back then. He wrote Elsie a letter saying he could see the hair guiding him in bad weather. Elsie and the letter are part of a book on the Vin Fiz. The story has a bittersweet ending, though. 49 days and 19 crashes later, Rodgers became the first to fly coast to coast. A short time after that, he died in another crash and became just a footnote in air history. But Lloyd isn't having the problem that the first pilot had. Cal Rodgers crashed into a chicken coop in Middletown. Laura Van Duzer was there when it happened.
Well, the chicken coop wasn't that badly damaged, you know. Of course, the plane was right into it, like, and it was just a little smash up.
Everyone who had seen the first Vin Fiz 75 years earlier also did me the honor of signing the Vin Fiz 2, just like they did with Cal Rodgers a long time ago. And then after the flight, I got plenty of letters by people who were inspired by what they had seen. I took off into blue skies and gray skies and cold skies and wet skies. I took off 101 times, and fortunately, I landed 101 times, although not always where and when I wanted to. I landed on tarmacs, I landed on playing fields, golf courses, hayfields, city streets, and my trusted ground crew followed me by car and truck, and, just like Cal, 75 years earlier, they patched the plane up for me when I bent it. And about 60 days later, I made it to Long Beach, California to be met by balloons, famous pilots, champagne, and a very big cake. And my very relieved family. Even my cat was glad that it was over. In a way, my last stop was where I took off, in Hoboken, at Stevens Institute of Technology in the Center Gallery. I'd been in a group show there once, but I never thought I'd have a show all to myself and have the whole gallery. But Paul Miller, who had been my art teacher at Stevens, recognized the Vin Fiz as an extension of something we had done in class.
In class, each student planned an art and technology project, designed it, and built a working model. Long after his class, Jim Lloyd continued to make art, including this ultimate project, the Vin Fiz, wherein he had a creative idea, used technology to make it viable, built a working model, and along the way inspired an awful lot of people. This, to me, is what happens when art really takes off.